Hey guys, how do you know when a date's gone badly?
I don't know how.
You spike your own drink.
I've been there.
Hey, man. Welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast, dude.
Good morning and welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast. We're here every week wherever you find your podcast. We are on Apple, Spotify, any other place that's got the word podcast in it. We are there. And we've got a great show for you today. We have a female comedian, Wendy Liebman. We have Craig Mitchell, the highest paid guy on the show because he gets a penny more every month. And we got Mike Grief, the dean of the Long Island College.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Thank you. I would have never figured Wendy was a woman if her name wasn't Wendy.
Really?
We gotta. How you doing, Wendy?
What's up, Wendy?
I'm so good. I survived the tropical storm, hurricane, and the earthquake last week.
What do they call it? The earthquake? Hey, I live in Florida. You guys are rookies.
The hurricane.
John, I'd like to see you in an earthquake. Okay, with your rings and your keys and your ropes, you'd be freaking out.
Hey, I live up in the desert.
You in
man.
your house with 120-mile-an-hour wind, where it sounds like a train's parked on your roof.
You know, in the news when they were showing up in the desert where everything was flooded, that's where I live. But luckily, we didn't get flooded. But hey,
I think it was so. Oh, God, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, it's like true. I've been in mild hurricanes in Florida, and they're a lot worse than what we had here. But the thing is that in Florida, nobody cares. Okay.
No, nobody cares. We're so used to it.
Nobody cares.
We only pay $6,000 a year in home insurance. That's why we don't care.
Yeah.
So did you see the report of Palm Springs, their hurricane damage? Everything was about between the 14th and the 15th hole, there's 6 feet of water. It's like every report was like that.
I bet there were still people playing golf.
Yeah. Palm Springs now officially one gigantic water hazard.
If this doesn't help the drought, is it drought or drought?
Drought.
This doesn't help. They always say, oh, but it's not going to help. This better fucking help.
Yeah.
Because it rained, I guess, as much in a day as it would usually rain in a year in LA. But I was more scared of the earthquake. When that happened, I was like, what? I don't like earthquakes. I was in the big one in 94, 95.
The Northridge one.
Yes, and it was 1:30 in the morning, and I felt the bed shaking, and I knew it was the big one, you guys, because I was in the kitchen.
my friend Alan he was in Los Angeles when the big one when that happened, and I said, oh, so you were there for Northridge. How did you know it was happening? He goes, well, I kind of got a clue when my TV flew off the stand and hit me in the head. That was kind of a clue. I'm like, oh, okay, nice. Good.
And they say get under your desk, but that wasn't a good idea because I had gotten my desk at IKEA and I hadn't put it together yet. So, no, but this is a true story. I had a friend staying with me, and he had been there for a week. He was another comedian from Chicago. And that night I said to him, okay, you really can't stay here anymore because it was already a week. It was like enough already. I go, all right, stay one more day. And then that night we had the earthquake. And so I was so happy that somebody was in my apartment with me because I was so freaked out. And then we went out for a year.
There you go. So an earthquake got your relationship. And I during the earthquake, I thought I was having sex. I thought I was doing great, and I was like, is that an earthquake, or are you just happy to see me? I don't know.
And he was alone. And he was alone.
And I was alone.
Hey,
yeah. That's it.
Hey.
You remember that? Remember you saying I had a friend of mine once that said, "Hey, can I crash at your place for a week?" And it was like, "When are you going to leave?" Remember they did a bit on Saturday Night Live, the thing that wouldn't leave.
Yeah. You
remember that bit?
Long distance
and the guy
phone
he
call?
goes, we're getting ready to go to bed. The guy goes, hey, what do you say we see us on TV? And it's like they look at the camera and they go, ah!
I remember
that.
that.
I'm too New York for that. I'd be like, listen, you're leaving. You're either leaving on your own or I'm fucking putting you outside.
No, but I was so grateful. I saw a Saturday Night Live sketch, an old one the other night. It was the Partridge Family versus the Brady Bunch in a sing-off.
Oh,
And
God.
it was hysterical. You have to bring that up because you're into culture and shit, right?
I love I
You're into culture and shit, right? That's my
I'm the
kind of
expert
chick.
in
I
all
love
that.
that. That's you're into culture and shit, right? You like fucking museums and shit
It's a
like
little-
that, right? Old
You don't
stuff is
get-
fucking cool. I like old shit, you know.
You don't get much more than New York than that.
Did that for you.
So Wendy,
Oh,
what's new and
God.
exciting? You just you were saying you just taped a special, didn't you?
I taped a special. It's going to be called It's Wendy.
Nice.
You know, because everyone knows it's Wendy. And
Everyone
or-
should know it's Wendy, and if
or
you don't
It's
know out there,
Windy.
Wendy, but look up Wendy Liebman. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. You know, it's like she is one of the funniest people on the earth.
One
I
of my
love
favorite-
Wendy Liebman.
Past 4 minutes and 10 seconds. But anyway, I don't know where it's going to be streaming yet, but I will totally let you guys know as soon as I know. They filmed a bunch of them, like Brian Scalaro and Dan Natterman and a bunch of other comedians. And yeah, so I'm excited about it.
Very
Nice.
cool.
I taped it
Very
in
nice.
Jersey,
In Jersey,
In
geez.
Jersey.
in
Jersey.
Garwood.
What exit? You know, that's
Jersey. Was that you were asking on Facebook for names of the show, right?
I was.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I should call it one of my punchlines, which would have been lasagna straps, because that's kind of piques your interest, lasagna straps, or Amazonnesia, that's a punchline, or something serious, not serious, but actually vague, like new with tags. Because that's something that women know about. Because when you buy clothes that are used
right.
or like recycled, there's a category new with tags. So it's basically new clothes, never worn, but they still have the tags on.
See, I
Yes.
buy new without tags, and it's really just used shit. But I pretend like, no, it's new, it's brand new.
You know,
So what was
guys,
the what was the punchline you decided on about your house being messy?
Oh, I didn't decide on one, but I have said on stage in the past, if your house is messy, just say what I say. I'm an artist.
I liked my line.
Which was your
My hou-
line?
My house isn't messy. I was just looking for everything I owned.
mine was my house isn't messy, but that spider is dead. My house
I loved all of them. Apparently you didn't chime in, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
But
You know, I might have. I just don't remember because
Mike
it's
uses
like,
telepathy, so
you
it's
know,
kind of
I've been-
hard.
Mike
been-
chimes in on everybody. He
By
doesn't
the way, you
even
know,
remember anymore.
guys, we have a clip of Wendy's comedy. Do we want to? You want to hear it?
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, absolutely.
we do. Let's,
If that's all right with Wendy.
you want me to
I
just
think
do
I
it
have
live?
it.
Yeah, just do it. No.
You know what? I picked the wrong clip, so I'll tell you when it's ready. Hold on.
Well, we can talk
We've
about
only been doing this for 4 years. I mean, what do you want from me?
Hold back that penny this month.
Oh my God, it's me.
I just wanna say,
picked
Wendy,
the wrong clip.
You
Sue
look
me.
terrific, Wendy. And like I said, I've known Wendy a long time. I met Wendy. I met Jeff first. Their husband, Jeff
Right.
Sherman, he was a writer producer on Boy Meets World. And I remember doing Boy Meets, and then we did Katie Sullivan, which was something that Wendy produced and Jeff. And it was so freaking cool. I got to play a daredevil, a motorcycle drunken old fat, you know.
And that happened, like that character was written. First of all, Katie Sullivan.
For you.
Katie Sullivan was written by Jeff, Larissa Olenek, who played Katie Sullivan, and myself. And basically, it's After Party, which is a show on now. It's about event planning.
Yeah.
But no, I was doing an event once. It was a car convention in Vegas. And I remember like the girls' gymnastic team, the American gymnastic team was there. And Evel Knievel was there,
Wow.
and
Evil.
I believe he was drunk. And
You think?
so, yeah, and so people were a little nervous about him doing his stunt. So we wrote that into Katie Sullivan, and that's the part you got to play.
That is so cool. I got drunken Evel Knievel, man. But you
I
know,
remember when Wendy first came to New York as like Rick Messina's big find.
Was it Rick? No.
I mean, well, he took credit.
or was it Baker or
No,
or Jimmy
it was,
Miller?
It was the guy who ran Catch a Rising Star.
Jamie?
The booker.
Is that Jamie Masala?
Jamie
No,
Masada?
that's
No,
out here in
Catch a
California.
Rising Star.
That's the Laugh Factory you're
oh.
thinking of, Craig.
Not Dominic.
You're right. You're right.
Oh, it'll come to me. But
He had short hair then, right?
Yeah, I
remember Rick like walking around telling everybody, found this new comic, blah 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 blah. She's really
But
fabulous.
I never worked with him. I didn't work with him.
He told all of us. So he
Oh,
must have he
really?
probably, but that's total Rick. He probably saw you at the comic strip.
All
We're still
right.
friends.
I have the right clip now.
Well,
We're ready to
Well,
go.
just one more thing I wasn't going to say, because when we met, the coolest thing was we go to look at the script and go trying some stuff, and I come in to Wendy's house, and who's there but Orson Bean, right?
Orson.
Worked on. I got to work twice in my life with Orson Bean, and the first time it was because of you, and that was like so incredible an experience.
He was so cool. He
Yeah,
was just so cool. What was the second time you worked with Orson Bean?
I worked with him on a show called, what was that? What's that
Normal
show? Craig,
Ohio.
Normal Ohio. See, Craig knows my
Oh.
resume better than I do. With John Goodman and
Yeah.
Orson played his dad. It was just so cool.
Well, I
Have you
remember
ever worked
Orson
with
Bean
Ramashami?
No, no.
I remember
Before
Orson,
we get into that one, let's show her clip first.
oh
We'll
wait,
play her
Orson
clip.
Bean. I saw him on What's My Line?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And Match Game all the time too.
I remember. See, the first
And
time I saw
Tattletales.
Orson, the first time I saw Orson Bean was on the Twilight Zone. But I remember this was the thing I wanted to bring up. We were at your house. I meet Orson Bean. Here's a guy with a resume that's like, he's this incredible actor. And I just walk up and go, Bilbo Baggins. He just looked at me like I was nuts, because he was the voice of the animated Bilbo Baggins that Rankin Bass did in the 70s. And so I put his whole career down to Bilbo Baggins.
I'm sure he appreciated it.
Well, I met Woody Harrelson and this last on New Year's, and I just was going on and on about Cheers. Meanwhile, he's done 1,000 fucking movies.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's intense, and I'm talking about Woody.
Sure.
Sometimes I watch TV and I order things off of the TV. Do you do that? Like I've ordered a juicer, yeah, and a spin spa, and a shake weight, and a magic bullet, and an Abra, and a zoo towel, and a slap chop, and a drop stop, and a Brazilian butt lift, and a chia pet, and a sham wow, and another juicer. Anybody else? Now that I'm in my 50s, I find that I gain weight just by looking at a cake that I'm finishing. I'm very, I lost 2 pounds recently, though, mostly bone loss. I don't care. I know I should work out to lose weight, right? So I got one of these Fitbits to motivate myself. You know, that bracelet that logs how many steps you take and it sends it to your computer. But I lost my Fitbit. Yeah. But it was still racking up points. Like 260,000 every day. I'm like, some Olympian found my Fitbit. And then I found it in the dryer.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
That's what I love. See, it's like, as comics, we become jaded. I look at comics and if they're not really original and they haven't worked, you can tell. And it's like, I miss the days when I was just a new comic and everything was funny. But when you work so hard on your stuff and you look at comics and if they're not original and they're not really, it's like you hate them. I can watch Wendy anytime.
Oh,
I
me too.
watched that whole clip, and my only thought was, what are those shoes?
That's like when I was on television, I would get off and my mother would go, what was with that suit?
Oh my God. You know, when you're not alone, man, I watch a lot of my older stuff, and at least you don't have to watch yourself with a mullet. At least, yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. No, but it's really like painful. Not so much that one, but really painful to watch older clips of
It
myself.
is. I don't
I
like
was
it.
so like, I talked so quickly and my voice was so high. And like, I don't know if it's because I smoked pot for many years or whatever, but now I like am a little more mellow.
I'm kind of jealous of that comedy bit you did, because you had the Fitbit. You know
Yeah.
you're fat when a Fitbit is too small for your wrist. And,
Well, honestly, I split a pair of pants yesterday and they were like sweatpants. I need a Fitbit.
Oh,
a Fitbit.
Have it at 4. I do wear an Aura ring. I have the sleep ring. Anybody hear of that one?
What is
It's
it?
like
No.
no.
tracks your sleep, and like it shows me when I'm in deep sleep, in dream sleep. I'm probably sleeping right now. Let me check. Hold on.
My wife does that. She tracks my sleep. It's like I wake up and I see her there with a knife, and it's like,
Oh,
go
that's
back,
not good.
go back to sleep.
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
You're still married?
Thanks for being shocked at that, Wendy. I think
She was. Wow,
I
you're
your
so
wife, she's lovely.
yeah, no, she's been trying to bite her way through the bonds, but she's still here.
the bonds.
And
Who calls these
John, your
bonds anymore?
girlfriend went to my high school.
I know. She just said to me before when I told you were coming on, she goes, ask her if she went to Roslyn High.
Is it
Right?
Rosalind High?
Roslyn High.
Yeah.
I went to Roslyn High. I was a very angry cheerleader. I was like, give me an F.
I mean, Roslyn High doesn't it sound like somebody on RuPaul's Drag Race? And now Roslyn High. No, that's me.
I heard RuPaul is from New York. Well,
Really?
well, he is. She's from Atlanta.
Nice.
I love New York. I do miss New York. My parents live in Manhattan now. They moved. We packed up their basement, their house, and I realized, I think I told you this joke before we started recording, but that LA is different from New York in that we don't have basements here because we are so much more shallow.
Yeah.
Don't even laugh. You didn't laugh the first time I told it.
And
See,
I'm not going to give you my stupid.
That's the
follow-up
one thing I
either.
don't miss New York. I really don't. I mean, I've gone back so many times, and New York has changed so much. I can't go back
Your
without
background is
getting
New
a
York, there,
ticket.
Mike.
Huh?
Your background's New York right now.
I miss the New York that is in the background. I miss the old New York. I don't miss
Okay.
New York now. What it's
All right.
become. It's
What
become
has it
so.
become?
It's just so on. It's like they changed the speed limit to what, 25 miles an hour. There's so many things that there's cops everywhere. There's cameras everywhere. Every time I go, I get a ticket. I get something. It's just all of this stuff. It's made it.
Oh,
It's
so
just,
he doesn't like getting. He doesn't like getting.
Tickets. The 25
getting
miles an hour is
caught.
if you're walking.
I don't like getting caught.
Provenza used to do a great bit about the difference between New York and LA as the zoos. Because, in LA, you walk in and the apes are laying in the cage with reflectors. You go to New York, the elephants are up on blocks with spray paint on them. He goes, I heard I walked by once, it's a long bit, but he goes, I walked by a lion cage one night. I heard one lion say to the other one, tonight at midnight, I'm busting out of here. And the other one said, what are you, crazy? It's a jungle out there.
We once took my stepsons to the Central Park Zoo, and proceeded to watch 2 bears fucking.
Wow.
Like, what is
Weirdest thing you ever stared at for
I
an
didn't
hour,
think
right?
you were going to use. I didn't think you were going to use that adverb. Holy smoke!
Really? Am I allowed to swear? I mean,
Yes,
Sure.
absolutely.
Fuck yeah!
but yeah, explaining to them what was going on. I think I just said they were square dancing.
It was square dancing.
or
man.
Yogi and Boo Boo are very.
And I don't hear any music.
See, I've never seen that. I don't know. Do bears have like foreplay? You know, it's like I don't know.
See, they do something else in the woods too.
That
You
must be
guys are
weird.
funny.
That's the weirdest. That was the last time I went to the zoo as a kid. We went to the zoo. It was the Bronx Zoo, and I think it was a rhino or something like that. Took a crap, and my mother, like she's so innocent, whatever. She almost fainted. She was like, "Oh, get us out of here!" And we never went back and did any. It's like, fuck, it's a rhino. A rhino shit.
Crap on her pocketbook or something.
No, it was
like
it was
behind
like,
a cage.
It was like 50 yards away, but I mean, a rhino does take a massive crap, But
Can I do a joke?
yeah,
Yes.
So I love the zoo. I love the zoo. My favorite at the zoo are the giraffes, and my least favorite are the with the little heads, the kids.
I gotta tell you, I missed what I miss out in New York is the Macy's parade. It's I'm an unofficial historian of that parade, and I miss going to see it. But you want to talk about, what'd you say, a rhino? A rhino? Excuse me, you said a rhino had a little incident in the zoo. It's great to be. Yeah, well, it's great to be on the sidelines of the Macy's parade. You got hundreds of thousands of people and kids, and the police go by on the horse, and all of a sudden, blam, all over the street, and the horse doesn't stop, and everybody's horrified for the next 20 minutes.
Oh, Siegfried and Roy, right? When they had their big show in Vegas.
That's magic shit, John.
Right? Now listen to this. They had a pit, right? So that when they introduced something, they would walk around the pit. So there was like a big circular pit, and then the audience was. And I was there one night, and they produced this elephant. And the elephant walks around the perimeter of the circus, dropping cannonballs that are splattering off the stage into where the crowd's sitting. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. It's like people are like, oh my God.
They needed like tarps, like at a Gallagher
Like a
show.
wet zone. At
No, but
like
that's
SeaWorld.
scary.
Are you sure it wasn't Gallagher?
Listen,
it was horrible.
I went to see Siegfried and Roy, and this was, I don't know, a couple years before, the Tiger ate one of them. And we were right in the front row. It's like we didn't have tickets for the show. We went at the last minute, and whatever, we got these, and it was right against the stage. And let me tell you, that is a scary place to be. I didn't think about it. I didn't realize till we got there. And then you got these tigers, and then when the elephant walked by, you're thinking, if the stage, if it tipped, I'm dead. I'm dead. And how's that going to, where's your obituary? Killed by an elephant fell on him.
Well, at the end of their show, they used to have this thing called the Pyramid of Tigers. And
Yes.
this whole pyramid would come up out of the stage with like 20-something white tigers on it. One night, well, it's the same night. It was the night of horror, I guess.
Night he got
Night
eaten.
of
The
horror.
thing went up, and a tiger on the top got off and came running down the pyramid, like right towards Siegfried. And Roy just came walking out and goes, with a little stick on its nose, bad tiger, and it just ran right back up. And
That was like my cheerleading squad. Pyramid.
Bad cheerleader.
Oh, it's so codependent. I love the way they made excuses for the tiger after it happened. No, he was trying
he
to
was
rescue
saving
me.
his life.
I fell down, and he was trying to rescue me by sinking his fangs in my neck.
Good magic, though. Good magic blows my mind. Like Matt Franco, who won America's Got Talent the year that I competed,
Right.
has his own showroom in Vegas. He blows my, like, how did they do it? How?
Oh,
John is one of the best magicians in
John
the
is
country.
great.
He's funny, but he's also an incredible magician. I don't know. Yeah, John's amazing.
Yeah.
He made my career disappear.
No, I didn't even know that about you, John.
Well, I'm sure he's
Really?
preparing
Because I
something
do
to
so
show
much
you now.
comedy, but I do a lot of magic.
A lot of
You
that.
do?
Great
So
stuff.
how, like, did you always, like, did you ever use it for bad? Like, ever steal shit? Were you a shoplifter?
You ever used to be
I'll show,
evil,
her, I'll
John?
show her the key.
John, will you?
Key.
She's
I'll
asking,
show her
will you
the
like
key.
ever? Now
Wait,
you see me.
the
What was
key?
that movie?
Wait, you
Yeah.
see the key? Can you see the
The
hole in
key.
the key?
I'm sure that's going to
Yeah.
read well on the audio podcast.
That's,
I
this
can
is
see
for
it.
Turn off
Wendy.
your green.
Watch.
Turn off
You
your green
gotta
screen for a
stretch.
second.
You gotta, yeah, okay. Let me turn off the green.
Turn off the
He's
green
turning off
screen,
the-
'cause nobody in our listening audience can see this.
I
They
can-
can't see this. This is just for Wendy.
This is just for Wendy.
What he's
This is
doing.
I'll
for
is
describe. I'll
Wendy.
describe
He's
for our
turning off
listeners
his
what's happening
green
right now.
screen.
I'm turning off
John
my
is- John
green
is-
screen,
I
my
will
virtual
watch
back
YouTube
background.
Instagram videos on.
I have a million YouTube
Yeah.
videos.
I'm gonna narrate it like a golf announcer. John is
Okay,
turning off his green
so
screen.
this would be. Let me just see.
Let's watch.
Now John is like
Hold on a
searching for
second.
props.
I am
He's
looking.
gonna
I am
do-
His real
looking. I am
background
looking
now.
for a coin.
As you can see, John paints his wall green.
You'd think,
That
you
was
think
for
a
my
magic
green
guy would have your
screen.
stuff ready to go.
I didn't really expect to be doing a magic trick.
Hey, what are you? Never a Boy
John's only
Scout?
pre-
Be prepared, man.
Hold on a second. Shut up.
This is brought to you by X-Lax.
That's becoming a habit. John's telling me to shut up again.
Okay.
Are you
You know what,
Okay.
John? If I
Okay.
shut up, you have to talk
All
to
right.
Craig.
Just be quiet. All right. We have a key, right?
Yeah.
I would pay you $100 if you could take this coin.
Wait, let me highlight you, John. Let me highlight you. Seriously.
That's all right, John.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay. I would pay you $100 if you can put this coin, it's backwards,
Oh,
through this hole in the coin.
okay.
So you would try, blah, blah, blah. You can't do it. So what you got to do is you got to take this like this, and you got to stretch the hole in the coin like this.
What the?
And you can take the coin and you can put it through the key like
And then
that.
you get your gumball.
You stretch it, and you stretch it back into one key.
Oh, it's two keys.
No, it's
Oh.
not. No, it's not. It really isn't. It really isn't.
Well,
And the
then
key,
you're-
and the keys
then
can be
you
you're-
should-
examined.
Well, yeah, what
The
you have
keys
to do
can
is
be
when John
examined.
next time John comes to the Magic Castle, I'll let you know, and we'll.
Oh
we'll
yeah,
come
yeah,
with-
yeah.
We
John-
love, we'll go down.
John, that key is
Are you
divisible
Merlin?
by 9.
What's
What?
that, Wendy?
Are
Hey,
you
buddy.
Merlin? Like, how did you do that? It
It's
blew.
all sleight of hand.
It blew my mind.
It's
Like,
all sleight.
Wendy, the key is divisible by 9. That's how it does it. That's an in-joke.
inside joke.
That's an in-joke.
But anyway, so we were talking about you know what I do miss about New York? The only thing, I mean, my favorite place in the whole wide world is the
Here, the
museum.
last trick I'm going to show
Museum
her.
of Natural
Last
History.
trick I'm going to show
All right.
her. Half
Hold
dollar.
on.
Heads,
Hold on.
tails.
John's holding
Okay.
a half
Heads,
dollar.
John's holding a
tails.
quarter in his
We
hand.
take this, we
tails.
place it in my hand. What is it, heads or tails?
Heads.
Yeah, heads.
Heads? You guys are
Tails.
really good. No, it's heads. I can tell because I am a magician and I have very sensitive hands, and you can see that it is a head.
Oh my God! The
Okay,
coin.
so
The
let me-
coin is now a relief.
Oh, wait.
coin.
You said it was
Oh,
heads,
the
but
audience.
like Wendy said, we take this like this, right? And we squish the thing back down like that, and then it become a tail.
he's been. You guys are.
All right, let's get back to what the rest of the
Yeah, the
audience
people at
can
home
see.
are like, "What the hell's
Yeah.
going on?"
So what I was saying is what I do miss about New York, my favorite place in the whole world is the Museum of Natural History.
Nobody's
I could
listening
live-
anymore because you lost them all with the head tail thing.
Yeah.
No, I dropped part of my microphone. I thought.
But
That's
I could, yeah.
When did you start doing comedy in New York or Los Angeles?
in Boston, but I want to hear about the natural
Oh, I'm
museum.
sorry.
The
I
Museum of
didn't
Natural
interrupt you, Mike.
History. I was just saying it's definitely I could live in the Museum of Natural History. I mean the dinosaur bones, the big whale. Matter of fact, the last time I was there, the big whale. You know, it's dark. It's very serene. You can lay down. It's just the cavemen are there. My family. I don't know. It's my favorite.
Marjorie
place.
Taylor Greene's family.
Marjorie Taylor.
They do
Oh.
have like nights that you can stay there.
Do they really?
Yeah.
sleepovers, but it's for kids, I think.
I
But
want to sleep under the blue whale.
parents go.
Oh, I bet you've done that before.
Whoa!
under the blue-
Yes, I have.
Craig has slept under the blue whale because he died. No, stop. Anyway.
Oh
Is there
no!
a movie about that? The night at the museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a movie. Was that a movie? It could make a great movie.
3 movies.
Movies.
I can't believe you didn't know I did magic.
I
I've done
really
that.
didn't
Oh,
know.
that's so funny. I don't
I
think we've
tried
actually
this
ever worked
envelope.
together.
I didn't
Really,
even know
Mark.
you did comedy. No.
Thank you.
That's because he doesn't. But anyway.
I was-
Thank you.
no, I didn't know you did magic. Do you do it at the Magic Castle?
Yeah, yeah.
So
When I started, okay, so when I started in this business, and they'll verify this, there was 4 comedy magicians in the entire country.
They're both
Yeah,
big
shut
guys,
up. You know that's true. There was 4 of us in the country. There's the
Really?
amazing Jonathan,
right?
me, Kozak,
I know.
and this guy Nick Lewin. Nick Lewin, and Michael Finney came after us. But we were the 4 guys. So like when they had Comic Strip Live,
Every
It
show,
was-
I would see either you or the Amazing Jonathan. You
it
guys
was
were
me or the
so-
amazing Jonathan every
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Because they would put us on at 11, I think 27 or something, because the Nielsen ratings come in the first 3 minutes. So they figure that less people would turn over to see the end of the trick to kind of bump out the Saturday Night Live ratings.
Yeah.
So we were on like every week. It was me or Jonathan, and it was great for us,
Yeah, sure.
So
So,
The
do you-
hardest part was gathering your doves.
I worked with Dubs years ago.
Oh, doves.
And the same thing when I was on that Comic Strip Live show, it was like,
I-
Comedy Tonight. And
I am going to go down a rabbit hole of watching you on YouTube because I'm fascinated by magic. And yeah, so I know Kozak because I worked with him in Dallas once, and now he lives in Hawaii.
Hawaii. Yeah, we're still good buddies, In fact,
So-
I just talked to him to make sure he was okay.
Hey, he's on the Big Island though, right?
Yeah, he's on the Big Island, but
Oahu.
even that part of it was on fire, he was telling me.
Right?
Oahu
Yeah.
too?
Yeah. There was all fires everywhere, I guess. So,
A friend of mine who was a radio personality or is a radio personality in Maui lost a lot of things. His name is Michael McCartney. And I put on my Facebook page if you want to contribute to a GoFundMe. Not you guys, because I know.
Because we're cheap.
No, because Craig has an extra penny, and John has a key and a coin.
and I don't do any of that kind of magic at all. That
Really?
close-up magic. I don't do any of that. It's all common.
Did you ever audition for America's Got Talent?
No.
Not your.
No, I don't know. It's like at this point right now, it's like I did a lot of TV and I did like 55 shows or something. And it's like, yeah. I don't know. It's a contest and it's so subjective and,
Right. Not necessarily fun.
Well, you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what I got out of it were my friendships. I made friends with.
Right.
I look back at that experience as just like I think everything in life is just information and experience, and
Yeah.
it's all cumulative. So now I have in me that I've performed at Radio City, and for that large
Sure.
audience. So
Sure.
that's what I got out of it, and my friendships.
See,
Yeah,
that's
I
one of those
was-
dream come true. That doing the Radio City. I think my dream as a stand-up was always to do Carson. And once he retired, it was like, well, I mean, I still did stand-up, but it was almost like something died, though, because I just wanted to be on the Tonight Show. with Johnny.
Everyone wanted to be on the Tonight Show,
Yeah.
But I mean, I was the- I was
Did
the-
you do the Tonight Show, Wendy?
I did it once,
Yeah, with Johnny, right?
May 10th, 1991. You never
Wow.
forget.
Yeah.
I remember flying home because I had to go back to my day job. I remember flying home thinking, I could die now and be okay.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't because I realized life is more than 5 minutes on Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
But it was thrilling.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
God,
I
I
No,
would've
but
been
I
so
felt that
freaking
way
nervous.
recently. I felt that way recently when Pee Wee Herman died.
Mm.
I never got to meet him, and I felt this loss. Like I thought at some point I would meet him and befriend him.
I felt that way when Robin Williams died.
Me
Like,
too.
not that I was going to
Robin
meet him
Williams.
and befriend him, but just that I
Right.
felt like I knew it was like I was profoundly sad when he
Like a
died.
family member.
Yeah.
Right. And I think he died right before I did America's Got Talent, because I remember walking out of Caroline, somebody shoving a microphone in my face and said, "What do you think about Robin Williams?" And I'm like, "I love Robin Williams." And they said, "Oh, he died." And I was like sucker punch.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I did get to meet him a few times because I did comic relief. And so yeah,
that's a regret I had. I was at Stand Up New York one time. It was packed. I don't know what they were doing. And he was sitting at the bar just talking. And it was my opportunity just to go over and say, listen, I'm a big fan, shake his hand. And I didn't do it. I was too scared.
so that's information that you'll do with the next time with somebody else that you idolize.
I actually have done that. You're right. You're absolutely correct. I did it with Buzz Aldrin. I said, screw it. I'm going over and shaking his hand, the second man on the moon. I did it. He punched me, but it was worth it.
Did Buzz know? Did Buzz know who he was at the time?
Yes, Buzz Lightyear.
He was Foster Brooks or whoever.
Yeah. His name ain't buzzed for nothing, man. Come on, he's smoking.
Edwin. His name is Edwin.
There's a comedian named Roger Capler who has a
we know.
Oh yeah,
We know Roger.
friend of the show.
movie about being Robin Williams.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I haven't seen it, but he channels him, right?
Yes.
It's freaky.
Yeah, Roger was out here, and I saw him do his show where he did Robin, and we were just, I mean, gobsmashed. What do you call it? Is that what you say? We just blew us away. And then we had him on the show when the movie was still getting funding, and the movie's incredible. It's much more personal than you think. It's really almost autobiographical. I can't say it.
Right, autobiographical. It's
Thank you so much.
It's like it saved him or something from from himself.
Roger's great.
Absolutely.
He's also an artist. I haven't seen him like face to face in years, but we meet a lot of people in our profession.
It's true. It's like what Greg was saying about being nervous about walking. See, and then there's the other part of it. There's that ego. It's like I've worked on shows.
To John's house.
I've worked on shows, and you walk in on this thing, and there's these huge celebrities, and it's like, and I've got to act like I'm meeting Joe Smith. You know what I mean? Like, when it's weird because it's like, I don't know. I still get overwhelmed. It's still a big deal. It's still like, awesome to me. So it's like, it's just the hardest thing is not doing the job, going on and acting with these guys. It's like pretending like they're just a normal person and I'm just hanging out with a normal person. It's like.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like I opened for Crosby, Stills and Nash for 10 years and I was on the road and I rode in a bus with David Crosby and Graham Nash. And we'd go to shows, like we'd be in New York and we work huge places. But we'd be in New York and we would do, say an 8,000 seat arena in Canada and then go and do like Bleecker Street, like
do
some little 1,500 seat theater, and like, it was very funny to me that like people like Bette Midler would show up at the concert and she would stand on the side and she would dance through the whole show. But to watch these big stars be intimidated by them was really funny. Like she was like really nervous about, and they knew her, and like Gregory Hines would always be around, like people that, that you just go, wow, big stars. And they'd be like, how you doing, David? It's like,
I guess it's like that until you become like Jack Nicholson, then he's not intimidated by anything. He's like, hey, you're lucky. You're here with me. All right, shut up.
My Jack Nicholson story. I did the Crosby, Stills and Nash and Young reunion, and we did it in a 1,500 seat movie theater in Santa Barbara, and it was a benefit for Greenpeace. So for me it was great because they ran a Greenpeace movie before I went on, so I wasn't even really the opening act, and so they were all focused and everything, but there was all movie stars there. And I was with all my friends from high school that never even saw me perform before. And we were in my dressing room. And, and these are guys that I went to Woodstock with to see Crosby, Stills and Nash, And we're in the dressing room and David Crosby walks in and goes, so, this asshole, like just giving me shit. Yeah, just giving me shit. And then Graham came in. It was the nicest person. We've had him on the show a bunch of times. And he just came in and he's like, oh, so Johnny Boy and blah, blah, blah. And then we're sitting there. My friends are just blown away. And then all of a sudden, I told you this, guys, the door opens up and the head comes in with the sunglasses. It's Jack Nicholson. And he just does one of these. pretty fucking funny.
Oh,
Shakes his head
Oh,
out.
man.
Pretty
My
fucking
friends are
funny,
just
man.
like my friends, and then John Voight came in. It was just like crazy, and it was like like when you have those moments, and you always wish like your friends could like experience
were
it,
there.
and they were all there,
Yeah,
and they didn't
wow.
even know I was a performer, which was great because they pulled up and it said Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young, and John Ferrantino, and they're like, "Is he in the band? What?"
When did Johnny
Was
learn
he
how to
not
play the
telling us
flute?
something?
That's such
It
an
was great.
incredible story. And
It
he
was
said,
great.
very fucking funny. Had you been on stage yet?
What? No. They came in the back. They ushered him through the backstage, the whole bit. And they said that was even funnier because it said Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young, Ferrantino on the dressing rooms. And they were like, what the hell is going on?
So you said Gregory Hines was there. I got
Yeah.
to open for him twice.
Nicest man, right?
He was the nicest celebrity.
Yeah, nicest man ever.
He was so generous.
Classy.
He died very young, didn't he?
Yeah.
He died young. And
Yeah.
we had all the kids in the audience who wanted to come up on stage and tap dance. And I was
cool.
up there too. No.
Oh, cool.
I never did tap dancing. That's one
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not easy.
tap or ballet.
I took a class, but I don't know.
You?
Actually, though, see, in my neighborhood, I grew up in Long Island's Astoria, and Christopher Walken is that his family actually had a bakery there, but there was this tap studio. He's Miss Kathy's tap dancing, and his family, him and whatever, they all took lessons there, and
He's great, He's a great
Yeah,
dancer.
he's a great dancer.
triple
Yeah, he
threat,
always
man.
goes, I'm a song and dance man.
You ever see that? Ever see the video by Fatboy Slim?
Yes, yeah,
Oh, he's
the
so good in
weapon
that.
of choice, right?
So good.
You
in that.
guys triplets.
I don't know now who among us should be insulted. I don't know. I guess
Why should we be insulted?
because we're all white, fat, and have beards. So it's
No,
like,
I wasn't going. I just thought you remind me of each other.
aw.
That's well.
That's a
we're-
nice compliment.
I'm still
is
amazed
nice.
because if
We
you
have
look at
some
Wendy,
bonding going on.
Wendy is the most innocent looking person, and when she said "fuck" earlier, I was like, "Holy shit!"
That's what
it was
and I
like,
reacted.
it was like Barbie saying "fuck,"
Well, I have a joke. I haven't seen the Barbie movie yet, but I can't wait to see it. But growing up, I didn't have Barbie. I had Midge, and she lived with her mother and her car.
Barbie's special needs sister.
See, she had. I had Captain Action. These guys teased me because I had an action figure. I had Captain Action.
Who's
And
who's
you're
Midge?
gay, and you're gay today.
Well, yes. So Captain Action.
It was
didn't
a
make me gay.
doll. We
What did
keep
Captain
telling you it
Action
was
do
a
to you,
doll.
Craig? Show me on Captain Action where he hurt you. All right.
So I was doing a gig, and they asked me not to swear. So I've done that before, but I usually say the F word twice. So one of the times this is the joke, and then I'll tell you how I fixed it. So growing up, I used to swear a lot. So my dad put a swear jar in the kitchen. Every time we swore, we had to put money in the jar. And then at the end of the year, we took the money and we went to the fucking Bahamas. That's the joke. So I could, Craig is laughing. So I could
I didn't
either
expect
cut
that.
out the joke, or this is how I said it. I said, so at the end of the year, we took the money and we went to the Bahamas and to Disneyland and to Machu Picchu and to Fiji and to the Caribbean. Like I just kept going on and on.
Right.
And that had a laugh too.
See, but
And
it's,
then,
Funny.
because it's like, oh, so you swore a lot. Like that's the joke.
Right.
Okay. And then the other joke is
Fucking Bahamas.
sometimes I lay in bed at night and I think about things like, why does it say dry clean only on my raincoat? Things like that. So, and then the last one is, and isn't a peach cobbler just a fucked up pie? So, Jeff wrote that for me. But anyway, so I said I either can say botched up pie or just skip the joke. But I said, isn't a peach cobbler just a pie that somebody dropped?
yeah.
So not as funny, but it still worked.
Well, see, but like when I think of you, like the movie Wendy was in the movie The Aristocrats. and you guys know the joke, the aristocrats. I don't know if the audience is familiar with it. I don't know if I want to go, but it's just filthy, dirty, disgusting. You can take it. Every comedian does it different. You can take it as far as you can go. Wendy was the only one in the movie that did it perfectly clean, and it was the funniest one.
There you go.
Do you know the history of that joke, right? So
Not really.
Johnny Carson had on what the hell's his name? Buddy Hackett,
yeah.
Right? And so Johnny said, "What are you going to do with after the commercial?" And the commercial ran. He goes, "I'm going to do the Aristocrat joke." So the commercial went on, and he, for the entire commercial, just made this the most disgusting joke in the world. And then Johnny, and so it was like a running joke. He never did it. And so anytime he would be on the show, or any of those guys in that group, if something wouldn't go right, they'd go, "Let's go to the Aristocrat joke," right? And like they would just laugh. It was like a private joke. And I told Paul, I go, the biggest mistake in that movie, not a mistake, but I said, the last time Rodney Dangerfield was on that show, he said, "Hey, by the way, Johnny, I got in touch with the Aristocrats manager." And Johnny was like, "You don't say." He goes, "Yeah, he said, he called up the kids and he said, listen, it took me 35 years to get you a gig, but I finally got you a gig and it pays really good." And Johnny's like hysterical laughing, right? And he goes, "What did he say?" And he says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Dad passed away and we've quit show business." And it was just like, and that would have been like the perfect ending to the movie. You know what I mean? It was like,
and when you finish that joke, they all do this. The Aristocrats.
Yeah. You don't happen to remember your version of it, do you?
Of course I do.
Would you do it?
Well, so Paul and Penn Gillette came to my house, and I'm sitting in a chair, and Penn asked me to tell him the joke, and I'm saying things like, and in the act, they braid each other. The mother braids the daughter's hair, and then they bake an apple pie, and then the dad's in the back playing softball with the son, and I'm going on and on. And then and pissing at me like, "You're not getting this." And then he said, and then I got to the punchline. "Well, what is it called?" And I said, "The cock-sucking motherfuckers."
The total opposite of everyone else. And it was the most original thing in the friggin' movie.
Somebody else did something like that. I think it was Greg Rogel.
God rest his soul. He's another guy. Greg Rogel, funny guy.
He's alive.
He's been open. Yeah,
that's right. Greg Rogel's. I was thinking of Greg Giraldo. Sorry, my brain.
Oh,
yeah.
Greg.
He's hilarious. He's hilarious too. But Greg Rogel is opening for Russell Peters on the road.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was a real brain fuck because I know Greg Rogel forever. I've known him for like 30 years.
Greg Rogel started at East Side Comedy Club in around 1988, and he entered at Stand Up New York, the funniest comic on Long Island. And he went there and he won. He kicked ass. And I remember being there going, "This guy is great." And then 3 years later, he's headlining, and I'm still opening for, I don't know.
Well, yeah, that great joke. You might think I'm funny, but I'm drinking milk.
Greg's hilarious.
No, I mean, what you're saying, Craig, it's like everybody has their own path, right? Like I have
No, what he's saying is he's not funny.
Yeah, I was saying I suck.
Greg is.
No, but like Ray Romano once opened for me. Jim Gaffigan.
Eddie Murphy used to open for me.
Yeah.
It's like, am I going to kill myself, or am I just going to go, okay, this is my path?
Ah, Wendy.
Wendy. You take your
Wendy
path.
Lieberman. How are you? How are you, Wendy?
He's an old friend. Haven't seen him in 100
Well,
years.
I did a college show once. Joan St. Ange booked the show, and we went up to some college, and we brought on this kid who had 10 minutes. And we died. It was terrible. I think it was Herkimer. We got killed. The college, they hated us. And this new kid, we go, "You still want to go on?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll do my 10 minutes." He went up and he destroyed. And we went to go off. We went to him, "Hey, dude, keep on going. He goes, that's all I got. I'm done. And he couldn't go do anything. It was Kevin James.
Hmm.
So
That's all he has now.
And that's all he has now.
wow, you didn't have to do that.
My first away gig was in Princeton, New Jersey at Catch Rising Star. And the headliner was somebody who had just started doing comedy like a month before, but he was still headlining. And that guy was Jon Stewart.
There you go.
Right.
He was always Jon Stewart.
He was. I remembered before
He opened for
anyone
me,
heard of
too.
Jon Stewart. He had a show. He had a show on MTV. He had a couple of shows on MTV, and I used to work all the time. They'd call me up and do sketches. He had a show called "You Wrote It, You Watch It," and so that was people would write in, fans would write in, and they would tell some situation they had, and so then they would hire actors to act out this thing. You know, like I remember I was in one where this woman had wrote in about sleeping with a guy, and she said it was a real animal, and this whole thing, and then she goes like, whatever. It was pretty cool. And then he had a few shows on MTV, but I forgot what my point was because
What was your point, Mike?
I got Vinnyheimers. I got New York. That's Alzheimer's with Vinny.
I have Oppenheimers. I usually
Oppenheimers
when I get mad.
Or you usually bomb. Sorry, that was too good.
When do they
that
hate
was
me?
just that
They
was a
hate-
low hanging fruit.
I'm only here because of my low hanging fruit, which they will never see. By the way, they'll never see.
Thank
it.
God. Thank God.
You know, I've been thinking
Gouge
of
my
doing
eyes out
a
after that.
podcast myself. I don't have a podcast. I think I'm the only one without a podcast.
You know,
But if I do a podcast, it would be just me on everybody else's podcast. Either that or I met a woman on a plane and we totally hit it off. Like she is my best friend. And I think we should do a podcast. We met on a plane. And
You
I
should.
think people would listen to that. Yes.
And you can play like the sound of jet engines in the background. That it can be.
or you could just wherever you go, you do a podcast with somebody you just met. You know?
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Well, I once met a guy on a plane and I knew he didn't want to talk to me. Like he was in the middle seat. He was bullshit about it. And he goes, I'm not going to talk. And I'm like, fine, that's fine. That's fine. By the end, we had talked for like 4 hours. He told me his deepest, darkest secrets. He was an NFL football player. Well,
Really?
yeah, football, a giant, a New York Giant.
Ooh.
And he was coming to retired, but he was coming to LA because they were doing the concussion studies.
Really?
So he was coming, yeah. But I know we became fast friends. And he said, let's do a show where we like record people talking on a plane because they reveal shit that they wouldn't normally. Because you think you're never going to see that person again, right?
Right.
And but I'm like, no, too many problems.
I don't know. See, I've revealed things to the person sitting next to me on a plane, but usually you get escorted off the plane for that. But
Well, it was your wife.
I am the worst flyer in the world. I'm just too terrified to even. Maybe I would just, like a confession, everything would come out. Who knows?
I'm asleep before we leave the runway.
I so envy that.
John's asleep as he's walking down.
I
the
am. I
aisle,
swear
you
to
know.
God, I flew so much in my life that I get on the plane, I buckle up the seatbelt. As soon as that person sits next to me or whatever, I always try to get the aisle, and then that's it. I wake up like somewhere.
I tried to sleep on my last flight, but there were people joining the Mile High Club right behind.
Oh my God.
I mean, the irony is we were on Virgin.
Oh.
These are all jokes. These are jokes.
You know, I'm a member of the Half a Mile Club, so it means I did it to myself, but what?
I used to do that. I used to do that in my act. I used to say, "Listen, can you join I'm just curious. Can you join the Mile High Club alone? Because if you can, I'm in."
You were having a menage a une.
I don't even like peeing in the bathroom.
No,
I've been like walking in there unless you have boots.
Oh man, my uncle scared the hell out of me. He said, "Whatever you do, if you go to the bathroom, don't be sitting on the toilet when you flush, or you're gonna fall out of the plane." I was 21 and very stupid.
Gonna be sucked through.
Boots don't even sound good enough, John. You need galoshes.
Yes,
Galoshes.
I know, drop cloth.
Oh my God. You would
Drop.
think that a plane would be clean and sanitary and whatever, but I've walked in some of those. You're right. You walk in there and you go, oh my God, thank God I'm not a woman. I don't have to sit down to pee.
There are flight attendants on TikTok who tell you how dirty the planes are. He goes, you think they wipe down all the planes? No, they don't. They just vacuum once and you're ready to go again.
I remember one time they put a coffee like a bag of coffee in the restroom to get the smell out.
Oh my God.
Now it smells like Starbucks and shit.
Either that or they were getting ready to brew another pot.
And the cat poop thing and the coffee.
Fortunately, your senses are dulled in the pressurized cabins. Your sense of taste and smell are much muted when you're in a plane.
That's true.
Yes.
No, it just sounded good.
No, it's true.
I wish they could just put you out like they do on Mission Impossible with some kind of...
What they used to do, Mr. T, just knock him unconscious. I when I fly, I have to take something because I'm claustrophobic, the whole nine, So I take a Xanax when I fly because it's like I've actually, before I got them, this is before 9/11. I remember running off a flight, and now after 9/11, they would have shot you if you got up and was running down the aisle to get off a plane or do anything towards the cockpit.
Right.
So listen to this. You talk about like we fly and we get frequent flyer miles and stuff, and so I think.
Are we boring you, Craig?
I think I have
sleep. I'm sorry, Wendy.
I think I have 900,700 miles on American Airlines.
Why don't you use some of them?
So wait a second. Listen to this. No, that's lifetime miles. So the way it works is you have to have 30 consecutive flights or 30 flight segments to be gold. You need 60 to be platinum. So I was platinum for like 10 years or something, right? And then I went to gold status. And then one year I had like 33 flights on American, and they canceled 4 of them and put me on another airline. So I get my thing at the end of the year and says, unfortunately, you've lost status.
Oh, those bastards.
And I said, what are you talking about? I lost status. I go, these are the flights. These are the flights that were booked. These are the flights that you moved, because thank God it was all on my computer. And I said, listen, I've flown on your airline 900,700 miles. At 1 million miles, I'm gold for the rest of my life. I go, and if you look, I've never flown you internationally except to the Caribbean. So that's a lot of flights. And they wrote me back and said, after careful consideration and looking at your status, we are going to reinstate you back to gold for $440.
Oh, just for $440. That's nice.
And then after that, I said to, like when I was working for the cruise line, I go, fly me on anything but American.
See, my status is so bad. I got to serve drinks to John when he flies.
But I always thought that was really weird, and I still
have that. How many miles did you fly?
900,700 miles.
That's to the moon 3 times. You realize that, right?
And meanwhile, I was telling this story to some guy who worked for Carnival once.
I was going to say some guy you met in the bathroom on the airplane.
He goes, that's not really a lot. He goes, I'm 2.6 million miles.
Wow.
2.6 million miles.
Well, there are people that fly constantly for business,
I was watching Jeopardy, and there was a contestant who just liked to fly to places and come home. Like, he didn't even stay there. He just liked to take the flights. And I'm like, oh my God. I used to be platinum,
right?
And now I'm tinfoil. Feels really like bad when you get demoted.
I know.
I am in the million mile club though.
Ah,
nice.
But it doesn't do anything anymore.
Nothing.
I think I'm a brown paper bag. That's
I'm in the million mile if you count the subway. I'm in the
I had a flight
driving.
I had a flight once from St. Martin. What do you hear this? I was flying back first class. I got on the plane. I fell asleep. I wake up. There's nobody on the plane. Nobody. Not a pilot.
It's a
nothing.
Twilight Zone episode, John.
The cockpit is open. I could have walked into the cockpit and played with stuff. I don't know whether we've left. I don't know whether we are. It's like a Twilight Zone.
I play
So
with cockpits all
I
the
get
time.
off the plane, I walk off, and it turns out that they've canceled my flight. There's two flights. One goes to St. Martin, one goes to St. Thomas, and one goes directly to San Juan.
Was this like a propeller plane?
No, this is a huge jet. So
And you
They-
said you fall asleep as soon as you get on the
yeah,
plane.
yeah. So I have no idea whether we're in St. Martin yet. What I don't know. So it turns out that they canceled our flight and they were giving it to the San Juan flight, and we had to wait for a flight. So I go, so you leave me on the plane, and the
You didn't
flight
wake up. You
attendant
wind up in
goes,
San Juan.
wait, the flight attendant goes, where are you sitting? I go, row 3 on the aisle. And she goes, you were on that plane by yourself? And I go, yes. And she goes, there was nobody there. And then all of a sudden they all like turned like, it was the worst offense in the world. And they said, and I hear them going, it's an FAA violation, blah, blah, blah. So I call the platinum desk and I go, listen, I was just left on a plane.
Okay, Karen.
And they went, no, listen to this. They go, I was just left on a plane. And apparently, I guess it's a violation. I go, they go, was there a pilot on the plane? I go, no, it's just an open cockpit. And I was wandering around on the plane. And I didn't even know whether we left or anything. I fell asleep. And they said, right, without even thinking, they go, we're going to give you 25,000 miles and 50 first grade upgrade stickers.
But John, you're Italian, right?
50 upgrade
I thought
stickers.
being Italian,
I
rule
flew
number
first
one
class
is you don't
everywhere
snitch.
for a year.
You
I
know,
just
snitched-
leaned a little bit.
You
at that
snitched
point.
on them, man.
were you on the gate? Were you at the gate? Could you leave?
I was at the gate. Yeah, I
So
got
the
off
door was
plane.
open, right? The door was open.
Door was open, but
Were
there
the
was nobody
keys?
on the
shut
Were
plane.
the
the
keys?
door.
Were the keys in
You
the
know what a
cockpit?
mind
Could
fuck
you
Shut
that
the
is?
on
door.
the plane?
Pressurize that puppy and take it
Taking
for a
all
run.
the peanuts.
I know. I should have taken off the plane. I
You
could
could have flown.
I
You
knew how to
could have flown the
fly.
plane. Took it yourself. Fly. You're a magic guy.
Yeah,
I
fly to
mean,
St. Martin.
how crazy is that?
That's crazy.
Like people just walk by me, right? I mean, I think the exit is row 6.
That'd be funny. Somebody walks by you and they're like, get me a
Like maybe
cocktail,
they thought I was dead.
Were you wearing your suit that looks like a plane seat? Maybe that was it.
I had my camouflage plane seat on.
I'm a flashpoint. Oh my!
Awesome.
Yeah, it's funny as
Wow,
hell.
we've hit the time almost. I
Well,
think.
yeah.
And once again, we had no idea what we were going to talk about.
And we
Like
still don't.
always, we never do.
Just
We were going to
chit-chat.
talk about the odds in Vegas about weighing Trump.
We should
Oh.
mention that.
Yes, we have to bring that up. So Trump is being arrested today, and they're going to give him a mug shot, and they're going to weigh him. He says he weighs 225, and he's 6'2".
So let's write down our guesses, John. What do you think he was?
308. 308.
Craig,
295.
Wendy,
293.
what'd you say? 290.
308.
293, but they have to weigh him at the vet.
293. That was
Or at
you-
the
you
zoo.
just-
They
you
have
just
to
said
see
why
how
they-
much water he
Why
displays.
did you say the price is right on me?
What did you say, Craig?
I said 295.
I said 293 like I'm
Yeah,
on
but you can't go over. So
I'm
that means
going-
you just you if it's 294.
It's
I
who's ever the
lose.
closest.
I'm
Doesn't
gonna
matter
go
if
with-
you over.
I'm going to go with 312.
Wow. So you
And
think
like Craig
you
says,
think-
is that with or without the diaper?
right? It's going to be a loaded
That's
diaper.
That's without the diaper. Even without the diaper.
Now, do you think he'll get weighed actually holding a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken? Do you think he'll actually be holding it at the time? Just-
I think it's so funny. They bet on everything in Vegas, right?
Did they weigh everybody? Did they weigh?
Yeah,
everybody?
yeah.
That's part of your
Giuliani's
booking,
weight
yeah.
and height was on there. Yeah.
what was
Yes.
Giuliani? He had to be at least 240,
But,
at least.
They
think
put
it was
Simon
actually
Bar Sinister
227
under
or
his
something.
protection.
He's pretty
What's that?
skinny, Julie.
Probably
I think he was
so nervous
227.
he-
27.
But I'm sure.
Giuliani's
I'm
only
sure
4'3".
Trump's been dieting for a week before the weigh-in.
Yeah, well,
he does
yeah,
take-
He gave himself
Okay.
enemas last night. He's like wrestlers in high school. He's laid under mats, trying to make.
Trying to make weight. He's trying to make weight.
No, I just think it's so ironic because he had like some kind of marriage clause where Melania had to weigh a certain amount.
really?
Oh my
Really?
God, that's
So
In Florida, we're saying they're done. She left
Oh,
with
really?
Barron to go back to New York because they said it was over educational differences.
yeah, educational differences. Fucking, she didn't want Barron to be educated on what his father
Oh,
was.
yeah, I don't think she wants Barron to be around. It's going to be, all I hope, and I look, my computer, I'm on the computer all the time. I want a mugshot published. I want it to be my.
You'll
work.
have a mugshot today. There's no doubt. They
can't
said he's
wait.
definitely getting a mugshot.
Do you think he's
And
going
the
to
bit-
wink? You think he'll be winking and pointing at the camera? I'm just curious.
Well, how about the fact that he said he's going down to be indicted during prime time? Exact words.
Well, if you're going to be indicted, man, you might as well get some press out of it.
Are they going to play that CBS special thing like dan?
Anyway, so
You ever see when he comes out and he dances? Bill Maher goes,
Yeah.
it looks like he's jerking off two guys. Sorry.
And by the
It's
way,
true.
that's not what it looks like.
Eat a little again.
Yes. So,
Uh-oh, it's the gay bell. Time
yeah.
to
So
leave.
speaking of the gay bell, should we give the answer to the trivia question from last?
yes.
Oh,
give me
yeah,
an
yeah,
answer.
yeah.
Last week that we have.
Wait, let's see if Wendy knows the answer.
Okay, but Wendy, nobody got the correct answer. But here's the
Okay.
thing, Wendy, I am like the oracle when it comes to anything pop culture from the 50s, 60s, 70s. So the question we asked last week was on All in the Family. Before Rob Reiner and Sally Struthers became, Meathead and Gloria, they actually offered the part to another actor who turned it down. And we did
Oh.
establish he's quite the star now. Do you know who it is?
Oh, yes. Don't tell me.
I'm getting a serious deja vu right now. It's so weird.
Kelsey Grammer.
You know what? I'm really having deja vu because it's almost like I've been through this before. But no, but you're close. I don't know if you're close, but
No.
do you want to know who it is?
Yeah.
It's somebody that I stood next to at Gelson's about 10 years ago while he ordered meats.
Well, and everyone will
Oh,
know
we
who
all
that
know
is.
who that is.
Yeah. That's-
the first choice
What
to
am I,
play.
Kreskin?
See, now if you didn't talk about All in the Family and Rob Reiner, you just would have come out with the guy I stood next to in Gelson's 10 years ago.
Yeah, I should have
Everyone
done
would have
that.
guessed it.
Give
Well-
me one more clue.
One more clue.
Yeah. Because I knew this.
One of the biggest box office stars in Hollywood history.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise with 3. On the meathead.
He could do his own stunts.
Anthony Hopkins.
No. Anthony Hopkins is a big.
Thanks.
You don't know?
No.
You want to know?
Give the
One
answer.
more clue.
One
For
more.
God's sake, this is a 2-minute segment.
Okay.
It's already going 20.
I know it's really going long. Okay. Let's see.
That's for you, Mike.
Academy Award nominee. Didn't win though.
Well, that narrows it down.
All right. I'll give you.
Warren Beatty.
I know. I'll give it to you. You
That's a
ready?
good guess, though.
Get off his plane.
Samuel L. Jackson.
No, Harrison Ford.
Samuel Jackson. Hey,
Harrison Ford.
motherfucking meathead.
Harrison Ford was offered the part of Meathead and he turned it down.
Archie, you got snakes on this fucking plane? No.
He turned it down because he thought it was too controversial. And it
Really,
wouldn't-
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
Wow.
Okay, so
Now,
when my husband, go ahead.
no, I'm
But I have a
sorry.
story.
Go ahead. I
So
was
my-
going to give next week's question, but you can go.
When my husband was growing up, they had a carpenter come over and do stuff around the house. And he said to my husband, "Do you want me to make a secret bookshelf for you? Like a little
Oh,
place
nice.
to stash stuff." And my husband said, "Okay." He was like 10. And so he built this like fake bookshelf for my husband. And that guy was Harrison Ford.
Yeah, he's a carpenter.
Wow.
Yeah.
So cool.
He saw him he saw him in a movie and he was like, "Oh my God, that's the guy."
I'm standing next to him at Gelson's and he's ordering like, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? I mean, because this is the biggest star on the planet, and I
Do you give him a reach around or what?
I didn't do anything. I just let the guy have his privacy,
No, see, I'm
reach around. Yeah,
He-
it's not all about
Wendy,
sex,
I
Mike. Get your
I
head out
sent
of the
you two-
gutter.
I send you 2
I
links.
just got that. I
I
just
sent you-
got that. He is so funny in that show, Shrinking.
Oh, shrinking. Yeah.
Oh my God, he's great, Harrison Ford.
Oh, so the question for next week, and guys, you can't answer this because you know the answer already. The question for next week
Wendell
is
Wilkie.
no, you don't answer it because you already know the answer.
Oh.
On the Brady Bunch, who was their first choice to play Mike Brady? That's the father. Who was their first choice to play Mike Brady on the Brady Bunch? That's a question for next week. If you have the answer, just send us an email at
Orson Welles.
I know
at the
it
Big
is.
Bad Broadcast at gmail.com.
You guys are into culture.
I know it is. It's Ramaswamy.
It was Ramaswamy. That's correct. It's Ramaswamy.
No president in this country
Ramaswamy.
will ever be named Ramaswamy.
I'll give you another hint. I'll give you
He
one
sounds
hint.
like he should have a turban and read fortunes.
And
Great
be on
Ramaswamy.
and be on Johnny Quest. And so here's the hint. Here's the hint for you. It's a multiple Academy Award winner. That's all I'm saying.
I forget
All
the
right.
question.
The question was who was.
That's how memorable that was. All right.
All right, we got to get out of here because my cleaning lady needs to come in and do her podcast. All right.
Have a podcast.
I got to go join the
right.
Mile High
So,
Club.
Wendy, thank you for being here, Wendy. The great Wendy Liebman,
Yes,
everybody.
thank you, Wendy. We love you.
I had so
Bye,
much fun
Wendy.
with you guys, triplets.
Thank you.
We
my love
will
to Jeff.
publicize when you tell us when your special is going to be airing. We'll publicize
Yes.
it for you.
Yes.
Awesome.
And we will have you on and you can promote it yourself.
Yay!
Thank
All
you.
right, so let's have a round of applause for our guest, Wendy. Give her a nice round of applause. And her two well-behaved dogs sitting
Very
behind
well.
her.
You can't
Give
see
them
that.
a round of applause. Let's
Yay.
hear it for Craig Mitchell.
Thank you so much.
Guy on the TV on our show. And Mike Grief, it looks like Odd Job and that little hat. And my name is John Ferrantino. And remember, you can catch us on the Podcast Playground, Apple Podcast,
Google.
Spotify Podcast,
Spotify. How
has
you
the
doing?
word podcast in it. We're there. You
Yep.
can catch us every
Peeking
week.
into your sister's window. That's what
And we have a great show coming up next week. We
Yes.
have the legendary Tommy Chong.
Woo!
Tommy Chong, like you've never heard before.
All right.
See you next week for our
See you
season
next
premiere,
week.
season 4.
All right.